Hello everyone! If you're not in the know with the modding scene, this is the biggest Kingdom Rush mod that exists, at least in terms of raw quantity of content. It combines every tower across the series, every level and hero from the series other than Vengeance, and it even has some of the Vengeance content. While it's not impressive in the same way that Kingdom Rush Plus is with all of its completely new features, this mod is impressive in just how much they managed to pack into a single EXE. However, because it's a single EXE, it would be effectively piracy to distribute this mod to just anyone, since you would be able to play all of the other games just from one EXE. That's why this isn't a publicly available link in my server, but if you can prove that you own all 5 Kingdom Rush games, you can still get access to it. Anyways, the thing I want to showcase from this mod is a custom level that comes with the mod. It's an edited version of the Cursed Bargain stage Back to the Rotten Forest. Arguably the worst level in the series, boasting some of the most boring wave composition ever created, this level has a lot of room for improvement. So I'm taking Dante into this stage to check out how it's been edited. I've seen this before but not played it myself, so even though I know what to expect here, I'm not at all familiar with the actual execution of this level's solution. To start off, there needs to be something to counter ghosts, so I'm going to get the Elfin Stargazer to test out its insane magic DPS here. Dante can't do too much against ghosts other than silver bullet them every 15 seconds, so the tower needs to carry. Fast forward a few seconds and look what we have here. Who let KM5 into the kitchen? Husks are spawning from the swamp at the bottom of the map. Someone got, let's say, inspired by Chaos Mode because these are the reheated nachos of basically every level KM5's made. And on top of that, there's a 1.5 times multiplier on enemy health because of the custom impossible mode that this mod comes with, so these husks have 375 HP. Next wave has haunted skeletons, so the Stargazer isn't going to be very good against them. I don't want to deal with their roots, so instead I get arcane archers in the middle. It's not the best spot for them, but I just want to lower the magic resistance of these enemies. This is among the worst possible strategies for this level, because split damage is punished hard by these guys. So if the level is actually hard, it should make it hard to force this strategy. Also, I just want to point out the lightning spell that I have here. The game is balanced around you using the 2 hero system from Alliance or the hero spell system of Origins, thus having 3 total spells to work with. So if you choose a hero without a spell, it defaults to the Thunderbolt that you get from the premium content of Flash. I suppose this is meant to even out the HP multiplier on this custom difficulty or vice versa. Anyways, Wave 3 comes, and with it, Nauseous Creepers plus Phantom Warriors. So they necessitate a rain of fire on one of these sides because you need the firepower to kill the other side. Unfortunately, I have no idea what the wave composition is, so I just have to guess at what to do. The Nauseous Creepers are spread out and too tanky for Rain of Fire to do much on its own. I try to clutch it up by holding out for another Rain of Fire, but the waves are balanced around this strategy being just barely impossible to execute. It takes just ever so slightly too long to get back Rain of Fire. So I basically just have to restart. But at least the thing to change is obvious. Do the Fungal Forest tactic of blocking them until all 3 can be Rain of Fired. Perfect example of a point I made in my This Community is Dumber video. You can't predict what the level contains, so whether or not you first try a level is just luck, not skill. I would argue that the skill comes from being able to adapt to this new information quickly, rather than to win without information at all. That says more about the level being too easy rather than a player being skilled. There are still some leftovers within the community who won't accept this no matter what I say, so my only reason to reiterate this is to reassure people who might be having to deal with this elitism. And it's also why I have a lot more fun trying out something for the first time, like in this video, on my own rather than through a stream, because people are so quick to judge unfairly if you show them anything. It's tiring, and it's part of the reason why I got burnt out of the series and took it out on Alliance for a time. Anyways, when I make it back to the same point in this level, it's an easy slam dunk. I've played these games before, I know how to counter those Nauseous Creepers, but I was trying to do live commentary as I was playing, so I got distracted by trying to speak and didn't realize that I didn't upgrade one of the Stargazers all the way. Thank you Alliance for forcing a rush to tier 4 to be the optimal play with 90% of your tower roster. So after this, I decided to switch to post-commentary in order to play better. I also wanted to try a different strategy altogether, so I swapped out Dante for Allura. I built a Surge Colossus to test it out, and then I tried Stargazer in the bottom middle, but this ends up sucking a lot. The split damage works against the tower's favor because it can't kill anything, and Allura is also only able to deal magic damage, so that was a one-try only strategy. Now I switch over to my boy Durax, or should I say my boys. This is a much harder hero to use, but also more rewarding. Sadly, his hero spell doesn't work against ghosts. In fact, it just wastes the cooldown and nothing more, which is a real shame. So I still need a tower to kill ghosts. I keep Surge Colossus as an idea, this time in the middle, and try Stargazer again with the hope that now I have enough raw damage to get the job done. Easily I make it past the previous highest wave, but then Tainted Treants, Fallen Knights, and Lycans are all assaulting me. Luckily, my Durex Micro is on point, so I even make it past that with no lives lost. That's where I run into wave 5, which has multiple Swamp Things. This level really likes throwing multiple tanky enemies at once at the player. And unfortunately, my Alliance Meta Slaving is biting me in the butt. The split damage towers are terrible against the Swamp Things regen. Luckily, Durex is so strong that I still manage to kill them all. That's when we get Bone Carriers, another enemy that heals, punishing the split damage even more. So once again, it's a contest of having enough raw damage output that the enemies still die in spite of their healing. The answer is a resounding yes. The Surge Colossus debuffing the enemies for Durex to burst down is extremely satisfying too. 10 out of 10, would recommend trying it. Wave 7 is nothing significant, but the teleport from the Stargazer is causing some whackness to occur. Then there's Wave 8. Say goodbye to the Cannoneers because they can't do jack diddly squat to Swamp Things. There's also the problem of these enemies being grouped up such that I make hundreds of gold in seconds as soon as things start to die. But there aren't enough tower spots in the back to properly spend it all, at least without a plan. And then once I buy a single tower, the gold just stops flowing in for a long time. Luckily for Durex, he's so strong that he makes up for how bad the defense is up until wave 10, when the pure ineffectiveness of the towers finally gives out. So I can finally go back to the drawing board. Forcing a strategy is close but not close enough unless I want to bring out the truly OP stuff like Ice Cult, which I don't want to do. Shadow1923, the legend who did Darklight Depths with only barracks, put it best. He said that these games should be played for fun, where you can pick a tower to make work and then do crazy fun strategies like Demon Pit only, Assassins only, and more. If you're forced to meta slave just to beat a level, it isn't as fun anymore. You can play iron challenges for that. So instead, I want to have fun with a hero who isn't going to do 90% of the work and still win with some decent strategy. My next attempt still uses the Surge Colossus and Stargazer because they have useful abilities for the late game. The Surge Colossus Electric Field and Stargazer Teleport buy more time for Rain of Fire to do the heavy lifting while still being good at clearing out hordes of ghosts and flying enemies, which are the most annoying parts of this. Durex and Spell Micro can handle the giants, as I've seen in the previous attempt. But this time, I go for Blade Singers on both sides because they can tank anything, scaling better with the number of projectiles sent their way. Then with my stalling strat, I try to use the Sandworm Hollow's AoE insta-kill to eat up all of the enemies at once. Sadly though, the Stargazer Teleport actually screws this over, so it actually does worse than the previous attempt. I make another attempt, but discover that the Ignis Altar's true damage can't burn ghosts. So that's 3 minutes of my life I'm never getting back. I got tired of wasting storage on recordings, so I decided to just play off camera for the next attempt. Big mistake, because that was right when I managed to get further, and that's when I met Wave 13. Yeah. These green mugs are not only immune to things that they shouldn't be, like Durex's hero spell, but there were also 100 of them all at once. All the effort I put into making a strategy that was still fun and wasn't meta-slaving has gone out the window completely. Even the Blade Singers, which gain likelihood of continuing to parry when there are this many projectiles on screen, still die in the blink of an eye. Things like the stun from Bog Hermit don't work on them, nor Twister, nor the Sandworm Hollow's AoE insta-kill. So, what are you meant to do? Sadly, the answer is to use Ice Cult. It just so happens that Ice Peaks and Glacial Storm work on these bosses. Why? Because you're not allowed to have fun. There's one hero where all of his powers just happen to work on the enemies even though they're immune to everything else. So, it's not an organic solution to the problem, it's the most forced, most artificial difficulty of anything I've ever seen in a Kingdom Rush mod. It sucks, but I have no idea if this was meant to be played in this state at all. Based on what I'm seeing, it looks like someone who's just messing around and happened to have a good wave composition for the first 12 waves without realizing it, then kept messing around and happened to make something utterly dog water at the end. But since I think intention matters and we simply don't know, I can't be sure either way. I will still joke about the content itself if there's goofy stuff like this green mug spam, but it's unfair to extrapolate anything about the whole modding community from such little information. Kind of like what I was saying about extrapolating skill from playing a level without enough information. Funny how when you use logic, it's consistent. Anyways, kudos to the modding team that put this massive project together. I appreciate what you've done.